episode 238 of Genius Take the Wheel. I know it looks like I'm beating my feet, but I am on my way to getting behind the wheel. I just watched season 1, episode 32 of The Twilight Zone. And the title of that episode is A Passage for Trumpet. Now, I wasn't going to lead off this stream talking about a show from the late 1950s, but it just so happens that it is the episode that I just finished watching before I left the gym. And I guess I can walk this way. It had some, it reminded me of a conversation that I was having with Mrs. Evil, and a continuous conversation I've been having with myself lately, and how that conversation has affected me mentally. The mental approach to how I'm living my life. And I guess not so much how I'm living my life, but rather how I perceive my life to go, and then how I either enjoy or not enjoy my life based upon my perception of whether things are going right or going left. So, Jack Klugman is the star of that particular episode. Really, really good actor. And he plays a trumpet player who I knew they were going to give me a ticket for this BS. God damn it. Whatever. I guess this is an example. They love giving tickets here in New York City for shit that is really not a big deal. But again, I could take the thought process of woe is me, but I'm choosing not to. Choose not to. Obviously, I don't love the $115 ticket, but I am choosing to not let it bother me. Pay the ticket, go out and replace that by going to work. So, obviously not happy about getting one of these BS tickets, but it is what it is. Okay, so this is going to be so anyway, I guess that, me mentioning that particular episode of The Twilight Zone is apropos. Jack Klugman, his character, he is thinking all about all the things that are not going right and all the things that he believes that he doesn't have. And he steps in front of a truck, and he believes he's dead for most of the episode, and then come to find out that he has not died, but rather everybody that he comes into contact with on the street when he thought he was dead, he was informed that those people were about to die, and that's why they couldn't see him. And the moral of the story, because it turned out that he wasn't dead, although he thought that he was, is that he paid a lot of attention to everything that he thought he didn't have, and did not think about the things that he did have. And it's weird that I would watch that episode now after having similar conversations with people that I love and trust about how I perceive the world to be. My other car today, Mrs. Evil went to go drive it. One of the tires blew out. That's going to cost a lot of money. Not happy about it. However, we are taking things in stride, and we are understanding that these type of things happen, and we are planning ways to get past the obstacle and not think so much about how bad the obstacle is and how upsetting the obstacle is. And it has done wonders to not compound misery on misery, to just deal with whatever the issue is in the here and now, deal with it, get past it, and then take care of the next issue. So, there are going to be weird things in life that are going to remind you that you're either on the right path and you're not really confident that you're on the right path, but it is something that kind of solidifies for you that you are on the right path. Or if you're thinking about doing something that you think is right, there might be little things out there that will let you know, yeah, make that move. Or you might see a cautionary tale that says, you know what, you shouldn't make that move. That's too risky. And so, I feel very good about the mindset that I've been having, whether things go well the way I want them to or not. So, very thankful and looking forward to the things that I want to try to accomplish next. Anyway, on to the review. The Nike MetCon 9. This is my second time training in it. And the first time I did, I ran the gauntlet of squats, leg press, RDLs, deadlifts, leg extensions, leg curls. So it's my first heavy Sunday leg day in about 3 or 4 weeks, 3 weeks maybe. I intended to, 3 weeks. So I intended to get my leg day in last week, but I had another class. I had one of those CPR cert classes that I had to do, and and then I had to work right after that. So there really was no real time or opportunity to get the leg day in. So I bought the shoes about a week and a half ago. I had I had one leg day using the shoes, and now this is like my first big leg day where I went through the entire program for the day. And since I'm coming off of a deload, today was already going to be difficult, but then I had some other things that kind of provided more difficulty. You know, I wasn't able to get my nutrition in the way I needed to because I had to call an audible and drive Mrs. Evil to work today because the other car cannot be driven because one of the tires just quit and we don't know why. And, you know, Mercedes-Benz is not open to fix the issue or replace the tires, so we have to wait until tomorrow. So that kind of sucked. But so instead of, like, you know, getting ready, eating breakfast, and then preparing myself and getting a good parking spot, ended up in a shitty parking spot that cost me $115 on a Sunday. So annoying. And so my flow was really messed up. This was my first time, like, really exerting myself the morning after an evening of doing heavy back and biceps. So not great. So I didn't really feel very good physically. Mentally, I felt okay. I was actually pretty excited to train and test out this shoe. But physically, I just did not feel very good at all. But I think that is a great opportunity to review a product. You know, when you're feeling great, it's kind of hard to say, you know what, this product helped me, and that's why it was so great. I felt like garbage today, or close to garbage, whatever's just above garbage. And so my performance and the little differences that I noticed, I think, make my opinion of the product just a little bit more legitimate. Because I got ready, I warmed up my squat, and I was very short of breath. I just felt very tired. The so-called energy from the pre-workout felt very fake. I felt like I had fake energy when it was really probably just the stimulants preventing me from taking a nap. I mean, it felt more like that. So the so-called, energy it didn't really feel real, but it did allow me to look at my program, execute the program, at least in the beginning. So I was supposed to, warm up bar 95, 135, 185. Instead of doing 4 sets at the top weight, I've now cut it down to 2 and then drop weight for 2 more sets after that, so I don't run my body into the ground and allow an environment for my body to actually recover. And I don't think that I've been doing that, and I've been getting advice from, people who are very well respected in their professions, and it's 2 different professions. One, a successful bodybuilding coach, the other, a doctor of physical therapy. Both told me the same thing, and they've never spoken to each other, not that I'm aware of. So in understanding that they're both telling me the same thing, I had to kind of put away my pride and change my program. And I've changed my program in 2 ways. So you'll see in the description of this video, I will inform you guys of that. So instead of doing 4 sets at top weight and top reps, I went 2 sets at my top weight and top reps, and then dropped down 40 pounds, and then did 2 more sets of 10. So on the barbell back squat, I did 2 sets of 10 at 225. Then I dropped to 185 and did 2 more sets of 10 And I felt bad, but I felt good at the same time. I felt bad because, like I said, my energy was fake energy. I did not feel very good. However, my performance was very good. And one of the things that I noticed is that my balance on my feet, even when I was really not focused the way I was supposed to be focused, my balance on my feet kept me from shifting too much. And so, even though I felt very short of breath after completing, rep number 10, I did not feel like I was about to pass out. I did not, tilt. I didn't tilt forward. I didn't have the bar fall off my back. Um, my forearm did kind of seize up. My right forearm this time. Usually it's my left. My right forearm seized up in the middle of a set. I had to readjust after the third repetition. And then when I went down to 185, it just felt easy on the muscles, but it felt very difficult on the lungs. The energy just wasn't there today. But guess what normally happens when I have no energy? I lose my balance. I shift I shift things into my lower back. Things go pretty badly. That did not happen today. So I have to be very thankful, very happy. And yes, the weight belt that I use is very helpful, but I really didn't feel my feet shift very much at all, or me shifting my weight onto my forefoot. I did catch a couple of reps where it felt like my right heel was leaving the ground a little bit, but I never felt like I was in any danger of losing my balance or being injured. So that is a ridiculous plus, and I do owe it to the shoe. Absolutely owe it to the shoe. The shoe makes me feel very planted with every step that I take. When I go and I set my feet are not shifting around in the shoe. I think I told you guys that when I talked about my first time using the shoe on the leg press. I did go up in weight from my volume leg press work post squat, because that's what I normally do on Sundays, except that I added an extra set and I raised the weight this time. So instead of doing 2 sets of 12 at 315, I did 3 sets of 10 at 365 after 4 sets on the squats. So I felt very good. I did not feel bad about that whatsoever. And then I went and did the RDL. Feet just felt planted in the ground, balance. Again, my mechanics have improved tremendously over the last 2 months, but it does not change the fact that I did not have to go looking for the balance on my feet. I felt very stable. I was in the right place. The bar moved very smoothly. So I did, a set of RDLs with the barbell, just the bar. That was 10 reps. 10 reps at 135, 10 reps at 225. Then I put the bar on the ground for 315. And let me tell you, this was ambitious coming off of a deload, but I wanted to prove to myself that the mechanics that I have learned as far as getting things right with the mechanics, I wanted to prove to myself that I could add the extra reps coming off of a deload while feeling like garbage. So it's, the last time before the deload, I did 4 sets of 8 at 315 on the deadlift. And I think that coming out of the deload, the safe bet would have been to do 4 sets of 7. Go step back a little bit to kind of ramp back up into, this heavy stress on my posterior chain. And pause. And I went for 4 sets of 9. On the first set, I got all 9. And I knew I was going to be in for it because, again, the energy did not feel real. It felt like fake energy. On set 2, I did 7 plus 2 on the myo rep. So I was just kind of hoping that I could kind of survive and just kind of break it up, and then I would move to 10, 4 sets of 10 several weeks from now after, stitching it all together without having to myo rep the sets. So I figured I would have to myo rep on set 3, but I didn't. Actually got all 9 on set 3 to get to a total of 27 repetitions. And then I was just completely beat. I was getting lightheaded. I had to eat gummy candy so I wouldn't pass out. Like I said, did not feel very good, was not properly fueled up. I know all the things that went wrong. But on set 4, I had to grit it out. So I had to myo rep. I had to myo rep it in basically 3 segments. So to get to 9, I did 4 reps and then took like 10 or 15 seconds. And then I did 3 reps and then took like about 7 or 8 seconds. And then I got the last 2 reps, and man, I had to grit that out. But I got all 36 reps at 315 on the deadlift, and let me tell you guys, it took a lot out of me. But I was able to combine the improvements in my mechanics with really stable footing on my deadlift, on my squat, while I had no real energy coming off of a deload, and I was just mechanically in the zone. And so one of the things that we teach as trainers is that probably the most important relationship when you're lifting heavy or lifting heavy volume is the relationship between you and whatever's touching the floor, which is why I'm really kind of OCD about the type of shoes that people wear when they squat and deadlift. And the Nike MetCon 9 is a shoe that's actually worth squatting and deadlifting in. Now, the Romaleos, I do want to test that shoe out at some point in the future, because it has the wedge built into the heel. So I'm thinking about still going after that shoe and testing that out. But one of the things I really like about the MetCon 9 is that it keeps your foot planted on the ground with no crutches. Oh, my ankle mobility is bad. Then work on your ankle mobility. Unless you've had severe ankle problems, you can always improve your ankle mobility. I've worked with people who just refused. They did people that could barely walk on 2 feet, and then they're able to squat deep, and then, on their way to squatting heavy. So I've already proven it with the experience that I've had over the years, helping people improve their mobility. So I don't really want to get hooked on the Romaleos or any of these lifting shoes. But the MetCon 9, with how planted they are to the floor, I really do think it is a worthy product as far as what I needed it for. And I needed it to help me stabilize on a day where I was very fatigued from training very hard last night, and then 12 hours later, pretty much going right back into trying to, 12, 14, 15 hours later, going right back into training again. With, the car trouble and the parking issues. So I have to be very happy with the product. I really don't have anything negative to say about the product whatsoever. When I went, into the deepest range of motion, the shoelaces didn't hurt my instep. It didn't hurt the space between my foot and my ankle. They're surprisingly comfortable to walk the streets in, which, that made me skeptical, because I don't want to be comfortable in these shoes. I want to be connected to the ground and be stable. So I don't want these shoes for comfort, but they turned out to give me both stability and comfort. So, Nike is making a decent product here. Would I go and wear a Nike running shoe to go running? I would not use Nike running shoes to go running. I walk around. Those are lifestyle shoes. I don't really think that the Nike product is really, for the most part, unless you're buying, one of their $500, cheating shoes for, professional marathoners. Unless you're, going in that realm, for the most part, they're running shoes. You just walk around driving them. But their Nike MetCon 9 is a legitimate shoe for the weekend warrior, and somebody that wants to put up PRs, because I did put up a PR today. 36 total reps at 315 is a big deal. It is a big deal for me, where I'm at in my program right now. So I definitely have to say, I'd have to recommend it. It's a good product. If something happens later where I find that they're not very durable or something like that, then I'll let you guys know. But if you guys have been looking for a shoe that will keep you planted to the ground and help you keep your balance on your feet so that you can produce a good amount of force, the Nike MetCon 9 is a worthy product. Now, before I get out of here, I do want to talk a little bit about the change to my programming that I feel like I kind of just have to do. I'm cutting down my leg days from 3 to 2. I don't know what that means for, Genius Take the Wheel, because normally I come to you guys, 3 times a week, because I do leg days 3 days a week. I got to figure out, some sort of post-workout stream that I'll do maybe from my office on this channel instead. And, talk about training and, and all of that good stuff. So I'm going to try to put my leg press and hack squat on the same day and see how that goes. And then continue on with my gauntlet on Sundays. So I'll let you guys know how that works. So I'll be doing leg days instead of what I've been doing from, the last 14 months, which is doing leg days on Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. I will be doing leg days on Wednesday and Sunday. And then I'll just choose another, day to give you guys an autopsy for, maybe an upper body day or something like that, So, all right, now I need to go home and eat and get my stuff together. I'm gonna have to pick up Mrs. Evil from work. A couple of obstacles I need to get past, and then once I get past them, very nice. Okay, so thank you guys. You're always, supporting the platform. I do appreciate you. I'm gonna go and put some nutrients into my body so that I can maybe grow a little bit more bigger than I am. So anyway, let me get up out of here. Thank y'all so much for the support, and I will see you on episode 239 somewhere between now and Wednesday or something. I don't know. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace.